form fire. He has a meeting with all the department heads, Tom, chief, everybody. He's gonna come down and get all these things submitted. Somebody sent a letter to form fire and said that, they have to be returned by the 5th. That's not gonna work for him to be able to get us a quote. So we're gonna need a motion here to cancel this, for form fire as of, it was the 10th, agreed upon, and then it was switched to the 5th, which isn't gonna give enough time to, get the new form fire, applications in, and it'll be beneficial to anybody that's going to, give us a quote on insurance.
So, I talked to Rob Green this morning. We had originally sent, the transfer is scheduled to occur no later than 4/10/23. So when I talked to him this morning, he had received that email. And he told me his plan to talk to all the department heads, and I said, that's fine, you get it done before the 10th, because that's the deadline that we sent you is the 10th. He did reach back out to me later this afternoon and said that had changed to the 5th. I told him to stick with the 10th, that's the original, and that's what was planned, at that point was the 10th. And I wasn't gonna change that back now because I agreed to the 10th this morning when I talked to him. So, we don't need a motion, we just, if that's the date, that's the date.
Courtney, did you send something to form fire that, went from the 10th to the 5th?
The other broker had the option of sending, so he sent his own on Saturday, which is what generated the one.
You don't have the authority, to change form fire. It would have to came from the board of trustees. I'm asking you if you.
Would you like me to finish my sentence and explain myself fully, or would you like to tell me what didn't happen? Because he did initiate it on Saturday, after you and I had a conversation on Friday.
You said, good.
That I should send it to Rankin to go out to quote. I informed him of that. When he received it, he initiated it. I confirmed it, that yes, I did say that he was allowed to do that with form fire, which is what generated it for the 10th. He sent me a message and asked me to ask you guys to expedite it so he could get it sooner. I then texted Doug and said, hey, can you ask Rob Green to expedite it? Doug says, sure, send me his number. Sent him his number. And the gentleman said, well, you know, if you initiate it, it comes faster. So I clicked a button and initiated it for faster. If I don't confirm it, it doesn't go on the 5th. You can tell me not to confirm it, that's fine, I'm not the benefits administrator, I won't touch it.
That's correct, and when we had a conversation Friday with Jennifer, you were sitting there when we had that. And Courtney did say that you was the benefits administrator, nothing to do with the insurance, when we worked with the office. Then I find out that you're sending a thing to form fire to cut them off. Doug was in agreement to let it go to the 10th.
Well, I went off the email from the original email Saturday, which said the 10th. I just told Rob this morning, that's the date.
Yeah, but it's been
That's what we're gonna
changed,
stick to
though.
is the
It's
10th.
been changed to the
So,
5th.
it was news to me when it changed.
To me too.
I tried to look into it, I got hung up on, so at that point, I don't know what else to do.
Good, so nobody has a problem with, me sending a thing to form fire, getting him to the 10th, and then.
Well, he still got to the 10th.
No, he doesn't, he only has to the 5th.
He has until the 10th if I don't hit the button confirming that the 5th is our requested date.
Well, then there shouldn't be a problem with me calling form fire and saying that he has till the 10th.
Rob can actually be
There's no
finished,
problem.
he can actually be finished on the 7th,
That would be great,
is what he told me today.
that would be
So,
great.
I told him if that's what you need is the 7th, then, that the original said the 10th, that's what I went with this morning, I wasn't told anything different at that point. If you can finish it by the 7th, then so be it. That's great, I appreciate the fact that he's gonna update this, and this is what I'm gonna tell you about this, and I will find fault with Rob Green, and I will praise Rob Green at the same time. Number one, this is Rob Green's account. So this form fire should be up to date at all times, number one. Again, things change. We've made a lot of changes within the township in the last year. Maybe some things got overlooked. My first opinion says that should already be up to date. We are the account, he's our guy, right? But if he sends this out for quotes and form fire is not up to date, then sending it to quotes is totally 100% worthless. Because you can't quote it if it's not up to date, so. Him being the guy, the first thing that has to happen is he's got to update form fire. And clearly, we cannot rely on our people. We have had that done in the past. It's cumbersome at best, and people jack that up. So him coming to the departments and working with the department heads, I applaud. Unfortunately, I think this should have been done months ago, but it's not, and has to happen, you know. So I've seen in the past, last year is a great example, where we got quotes that weren't complete quotes. So there was a $40,000 difference because we had 3 guys that weren't even on the form fire roster when we got quotes. So your quotes are gonna come off that roster. 100%, am I correct, Courtney?
Yes,
So if for some reason,
So you're saying that Alberni Insurance was $40,000 off?
yes, I'm saying that. And I don't quote me on the exact number, but it was off, was it not, Courtney?
yes, it was.
It's off because if Sean Davis is a new employee and he's not on form fire, and we send that for quotes and the quote comes back as $100,000, and then we say, okay, we're gonna go with you because you're clearly cheaper than the last guy, and then we engage in that policy, and suddenly they go, hey, Sean Davis wasn't on this, and his benefits as a family are $2,000 a month, so that's off by $24,000. And by the way, Jennifer wasn't on it either, so she is a family plan. That's another $24,000 a year, so now you're at $48,000, just like that. That's how different your quotes can be and how fast your quotes can be different. So my opinion states that the broker should have form fire up to date 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year from the beginning of that policy. It's not, okay, but I know we've made a lot of changes, so if somebody doesn't go take these guys by the hand, sit down with them, and go over everything that needs to be gone over and the changes made in form fire, then you might as well not bid the insurance, because you really don't know what you're getting anyhow. You really don't know what the price is gonna be. I've been a trustee for 5 years. 3 times we've quoted insurance. 3 times I've seen this happen, where the numbers drastically change.
And these are all by different agents. And the way I look at it, Doug, it's information in, information out. If they don't have the information to know that Jennifer and these people are on the account, when they go ahead and they bring their quote to us, that's not their fault. They're not mind readers. It's the information that we give to them that they present to the insurance company to give us a quote.
Here's the problem.
No, that's the problem.
No, here's the problem with that. Rob Green said he was going to handle that. He took that account. Now, if you wanna go one step deeper, I'll take you there. You're right. It's not Alberini's responsibility, nor is it Rob Green's responsibility. It's our benefits administrator's responsibility. Who is that? Is it you? Is it you? No, that's right, we don't have one. That's why Rob Green said he'd step in and do it in the first place, because they wanted our account. You know, time flies, and it got out of hand, got a little jacked up. He's gonna fix it, that's okay, and we still have some time, that's okay. So, get it fixed, and we'll move on to the next problem.
Okay, so I'm gonna push back again. If we have somebody that says that they're not gonna be the benefit administrator, like you said, we have nobody, then somebody jumps in to be the benefit administrator and starts manipulating things, that's not the broker's fault. we have to put it down, and I will take care of the insurance. I will, take that head on. I'll be the benefits administrator until we get one into place.
Is that on record?
It is now.
What do you mean, is that on record? That's insulting.
It's what it is.
All right, any more on that, topic? Rex, do you have anything?
No, you guys did good.
Thank you. Would you say that was a draw, or
I
was
was
that a complete
entertained.
knockout? Huh?
I was entertained.
That was entertaining, okay. Let's go to public comment right now. Sir, I cut you off, and I'm gonna bring you right back up, while it's still fresh in your mind.
Could you please state your name and address for the record?
Richard Cadman, 14 Abington Drive, Northwest, Warren, Ohio, 44481. I'm following up for our board who've filed a couple complaints regarding the two residences here on Mahoney Avenue. One on each side of the entrance to Statler Ridge. One, I believe, is Mr. Caldwell's business. The other, I'm not sure. Caldwell has all his construction equipment out there, pipes laying, equipment laying, and it's a rented residence, zoned residential. He's working his business out there. The other side of the road, the guy's got 5 pickup trucks dead, 3 tractors dead, okay? And now just recently, in the last few months, Caldwell's been burning, open burning in the back. So if you go to the parking lot, the high school, fence on Statler Ridge there, you can see a big pile of rubbish that he's been trying to burn for quite a while. We've been living with it for years. And it's been 6, 8 months since we identified with Rhonda and filed a complaint, and we're still sitting here trying to figure out what's going to happen. That's all I have to say.
Right now, we're kind of, in a pickle. I'll take this head on first. We're kind of in a pickle because we don't have a zoning inspector. That should be common sense where we should be able to go out there and do something.
We had one 6 months ago, when she was there.
But
What happened?
it didn't happen. I don't know why it didn't happen. I don't have an excuse for you, sir, and I'm not gonna try to make one. I'm just saying that it didn't happen. Right now, we don't have anybody in place that, knows. Well, Jennifer is brand new. She's trying, doing her best. She will get on this right away, and we can see what we can do about that.
So Rhonda's on board for 27 more days. She's not gonna train Jennifer at all.
Unfortunately, you are correct.
And why is that?
Because, she has a right to be on leave, for FMLA. I don't have a good answer for you. I was hoping that we would have at least, 2 months of somebody getting trained under her, before she retired.
Well, let
I
me ask
wish
you
I
this,
had a
does she have
better
the
answer
ability to
for
go
you.
to another township and train with a
Yes,
zoning person?
she has the ability to
Wonderful.
talk to somebody that, may know more. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And Jennifer will probably do that.
Yeah.
So
We've
what I'm
already
gonna,
reached out to a few.
what I'm gonna propose is, we'll get you those 2 addresses. I want you to dig back through the files and see if you can find those complaints. However, you do not need a written complaint to investigate a zoning violation.
That's correct.
Ding dong, the witch is dead, we're in a new era. You don't have to have a complaint in writing. If the complaint exists, investigate it. Police department stops people speeding all day without somebody having to call in and say, guy's speeding. Enforce the rules, that's what it comes down to. Don't put people on the spot by saying, you have to fill out a paper in order for us to enforce zoning. That's not the way it works. So, if, I'll get you those 2 addresses. I want you to dig in the file, see if you can find them. If not gonna make you guys fill out another written complaint, because we don't need it. We never did need it. And I hope that we never need it again.
Thank you.
So,
If I've been getting complaints like that, or they leave them on the phone, or if I see something, I am writing them only as a paper trail.
that's all you need to do.
And that's what I've been doing, so.
That's all you need to do. I don't know why we made it so difficult for our residents to file a zoning complaint. You know, you pick up the phone, you call in and say, my neighbor's got 3 junk cars in his driveway. His name's Bill Templeton. So, you don't have to have the guy come up to the office to fill out a complaint form. What's the address? 1621 Glendova, great. Come out and take a look at it. It's really that simple. It never needed to be so complex. So, we're hoping to see some changes with zoning in the very near future. And we're gonna work hard on that, because I think it's something that's needed done for quite a while. So I'll quit preaching. Sorry.
Yeah, because we've been here the whole time and we've done nothing about it.
Sorry.
So we have no excuse. That's what Doug was really trying to say between the lines. No, but he's right.
But I know those complaints were filed. I know
We don't
they-
have to worry about a complaint being filed, he just explained the situation. We know it's there, we haven't done nothing, and it's time we do something.
We're just looking for resolution. That's all we're looking for.
And that's gonna take us to do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome, and I'm sorry to interrupt you earlier. Anybody else from the public? Silas?
Silas Dozier, 6158 Schaefer Road.
We have no updates on that.
I'm going down the list. I got one here, and it's a good thing. It's about that flag presentation at the Cub Scout going to the Eagle Scout. When I was in the military, I don't know if this is a law or not, maybe you guys can look into it. But when I was on base, they actually had that flag presentation of how to fold it, and it had to be by the flag, not away from it. Now, I don't know if this is residential
The flag
or
right
not.
there.
I'm just putting it
flag
out there,
right
because
by
if you
the
don't put it
flag.
there and you get riffraff back, and you know, it's gonna be a headache.
Flags right by the
But
schoolhouse.
if you have to, that they said it had to be within a certain distance of the American flag on base, when I was in the
Okay, the only flag that we do have in the cemetery currently was donated by the Rotary, and it's by the schoolhouse.
Yes, and I'm not sure if that has any correspondence to this or not, but maybe you might wanna look into it, or even the gentleman that was in here gonna do this presentation and build this thing, maybe they can look it up. I
Silas,
don't know.
would you mind putting a little effort forth, and
Yeah.
since you know a lot more than
Yeah.
we do,
I
I
can
don't
look
think
into
any of
it.
us were in the military, although Rex was a military family. Might know something about that.
I would suspect that might be just something required on a military base. That's,
I don't
they
know
have their own set
outside.
of rules as far as policing and everything else. That's all a separate little entity, a little city.
I hate to have somebody, you know, come to the thing and then somebody in the service or you're still active duty and they have something to say about it.
About a week before Memorial Day, Silas, if
I'll
you
get
give us an
it
answer.
next couple days, you know,
Thank
maybe
you.
I'll do some research on it and see if there's anything to it.
Thank
And I'll get back to you. I got
That's
you.
how it works here. You come here with something, we put you to work.
How'd you like that, huh?
I got a couple other things, and I know it has something to do with what you already got into, you already told me about. But my thing is, this house that I have on Schaefer Road that's been a nuisance, it's going on a year. And where I was just told that a house is coming down in the next month, it leapfrogged over this one, and this one was supposed to have been done before.
We're not
This was,
tearing one down.
it was one on,
It was not.
we're not tearing it down.
We're not tearing one down.
Well, there was one on Pierce or Prentice that was torn down, Rhonda was still here.
That was a person though, on purpose.
No, we did that one.
Oh, we did it?
The township did that one. This one here on Schaefer's supposed to be next in line.
But the one on Champion Street's private.
Yeah, that was it. Oh, okay, yeah,
That's
right.
the land bank.
Land
Yeah.
bank.
Yeah, we just brought it to their attention, like, hey,
Okay.
speed it up, it's on our township.
But,
Now it's her.
okay, but then this one here on Schaefer was supposed to be next after the one on Prentice or
We didn't know
Pierce.
there was one on Schaefer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know better than that, I've been coming up here for a year. So, but I was just trying to figure out, you know, what is the holdup on what are we doing now? Is this thing going to sheriff's sale next month, or what do we got? 'Cause I've been on the sheriff's sale, I can't find it.
I haven't seen anything either. I've watched. I have heard no updates on anything.
I've been on there once a week, and I still see nothing. I
But-
was just on it yesterday, and still nothing.
The last I knew is they were doing the title searches on it still.
Okay.
And I haven't heard anything from there. I know that it has not moved an inch that I'm aware of, so.
Okay.
hopefully we can do
You,
one.
I don't know, Silas, if you've seen the title search, the paper, the legal paper that Mark drew up. You've got errors, and you've got errors that are unknown. Therein lies
You
the
got-
problem, is trying to find.
But that's the problem. Why is it there's so many people that gotta be found when there's only one person on the deed?
I don't know why they can't do
I
it.
have no idea why that is.
They quit claim, the people they can't find, they just can't do a quit claim on the deed.
But why do they have to go to my son's son, and daughter, 15, 20 kids down the road out of 17 families when there's only one person on the deed?
I would say that has to do with the will or something.
There was nothing with when the person that died, that was living there.
Yeah, but how about the person before that?
Well, I can assure
There
you,
was only one person that's got, and that's Cheryl Wilson that owns that house. It's in her name, and that's it. Nobody else is on the deed. Absolutely nothing, and that's what I can't understand, why so many family members has gotta be involved. But it is what it is, I'm gonna keep digging and trying to figure it out. But I got one, if I could, to Chief Dempsey, you were talking about the generators. Is there a set distance from the house that you can run those?
No, not really. I mean, you have
Okay.
to check your wind direction also, make sure that the windows aren't open. That my generator sits, I don't know, maybe 10 foot away from my house.
Yeah, that's where I had mine.
Yeah, but I keep my kitchen windows closed.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
that's all.
okay. No problem, that's all I got.
Okay, thank
But
you.
thank you guys, and ladies, I don't wanna get run down and beat up outside. I'm afraid, there's two things in the world I'm afraid of, and that's women and police. They can hurt you either way.
Oh, the park update.
You skipped old business and correspondence.
Jason, so what we're here for is the.
Yeah.
Yeah, want to know about park update.
For the public comment. Jason Kish, 5110 Sabrina Lane. So there were two topics, and I'm gonna be a broken record here. But the first one is the grants. And as I was thinking more about grant writing, because I've brought up somebody hunting down grants more actively, having somebody that has that in their job title. As I was thinking about how much the fire chief and the police chief are writing grants, you're really paying a police chief or a fire chief to be a grant writer. And as hard as it is for them to find employees, and they're not, just sitting behind desks, we're really taking people off the street to write grants. And I just think it would be more effective to have somebody with grant writer as a big piece of their title, whether it's somebody that's a grant writer and they do something for the administration, secretarially, or if that's even a word, or if we have a separate grant writer. But I really do see that as being the big difference between the facilities and the vehicles that we have versus some neighboring towns. So that's the first thing that I wanted
Okay,
to
let me
bring up.
respond to that real
Sure.
quick. So, the reason that you look at the department heads, so hard to write grants, most of the grants that they're doing are pretty simplistic grants, they're not in-depth. But anytime that you head down the road of doing a grant, like Courtney worked with myself, Wasco, Sergeant Wasco, Sergeant Goldner at the time on some grants. And so if you said that I was the grant writer on that, or Courtney was the grant writer on that, we don't have the information, and neither would a grant writer. So if a grant writer was gonna come in and that person was gonna write a grant that Chief Dempsey or Chief Skaggs or even Sean at the road department talks of, that department head 95% of the time would be sitting in a chair right next to the grant writer, because there is constant information that needs input into that. personnel, amounts of calls, what were the calls, so like if you're going after a grant, opioid grant's a good, or a DOJ grant that would center around overdose statistics, we would require, and the police department's going after a grant for that. We would require police chief and fire chief to be present while that grant writer works on that, because she's constantly gonna be asking questions about how many overdoses were there? Can you break that down more specific? What was heroin overdoses? What was this? What was fentanyl? How many fentanyl related? You know, so it's, I know it sounds like a waste of time, but even if we had a full-time grant writer, that department head would be sitting in the chair next to them the whole time. It would not free them up to the point that they could go do something else. Any grants that I've worked on, mostly with Courtney, there's been 4 or 5 people involved in that process, because it's, you know, I'm doing my part, Courtney, million questions for Courtney, million questions for Dempsey, a million questions for Skaggs, White at the time, Wasco at the time, I guess. The information required is incredible amounts, so. Would we benefit from a grant writer? Yeah, probably. And there's no doubt, but Rex spent, 3-4 hours this week, over a grant, for parking lots, and, you know, we're in a precarious spot here as Champion Township, and that we don't qualify for a bunch. I mean, we don't, our income levels are